before Laura starts, I just would like to give you quickly an introduction to our company. Next Step College Prep has been in the education business for 22 years. Our CEO, David Mamano, started the business in 1995 by starting a college and career planning magazine that was delivered to more than 20,000 high schools across the country 5 times per year. We retired the magazine about 5 years ago because it was no longer cutting-edge technology. Students were turning to computers and mobile devices for most of their information. So we transformed our company into an online resource for high school students, covering all aspects of college and career planning. And most recently, we've partnered with Dr. Jim Malone to design an online college readiness curriculum. Dr. Malone is a nationally recognized counselor who has been in this industry for almost 50 years. His career focus is helping students and individuals with college selection and career planning, and he has helped thousands of students. So together with Dr. Malone, Next Step College Prep was created. Next Step College Prep is a college and career planning curriculum that is completely objective, incredibly organized, and it's all online. It is a plug-and-play college planning toolkit that you can use in group settings, workshops, classes, or your students can log in and work independently. It's organized in a way that it is extremely easy to navigate. We've broken down the college and career planning process into steps, and behind every step are videos, articles, downloadable homework and handouts, and then also discussion points. We also have a self-assessment test that we are going to show you today in our webinar. So, just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in the GoToWebinar control panel. We will bring them up during the presentation, and we will also have time at the end for questions at the end. So, without further ado, I will now turn the time over to Laura Sestito. Here's Laura.
Thanks for that introduction, Lisa. Welcome, everyone. We're excited to talk about how personality tests can help you and your students figure out what's best for them after high school. So the first question you might have is, why take a personality test? So your students have likely been told about the importance of choosing a college and a career path, but do they actually know how to get started? So what many students don't know what they want to do after high school. And like myself, even if I had an idea, I really like journalism, but can I make a career out of it? It's difficult to pinpoint exactly how to use your strengths or your favorite class in order and translate that into a career that not only is viable, is growing, but can also help them be fulfilled and happy. And that's really the goal here. So our method to helping students finding what they want to do is through self-assessment. And we use that using the latest tool that we've developed regarding the Myers Briggs personality test. And we've used this tool to help test students and guide them toward what their talents and their interests might be based on some of the innate values and personality traits that they have. And that can help point them in the right career or major path. So why did we choose the Myers Briggs personality test? Well, the first reason is it's been around for a really long time, since the early 20th century, and it's long been recognized as one of the leading tests that accurately help students discover their personality types. And since it's been around for so long, they've been able to prove that it's accurate and reliable over the course of a lifetime, which is a really big plus. Additionally, this test doesn't give you any bad answers. So some personality tests might put traits superior over another, and this test doesn't do that. It recognizes that everyone has their own strengths, and that can go towards different things, and different is not necessarily bad. So it's beneficial to everyone who takes it. In particular to your students, how does it benefit them? Well, like I said, we recognize that all of us have different strengths, but it can be difficult to self-discover what really makes us happy and fulfilled. You know, your student might say, I really like math, but why do they like math? Is it because they're logical? Could that be a different career path than just like a math teacher, stuff like that? So that's really what one of the main benefits are. It's also an objective way to analyze what makes them feel fulfilled and how they can use that information to point them in a career or major path that might fit them best. And lastly, it's a fun way to help them discover what's good for them. So the college and career planning process can be really stressful. You know, you're planning out the rest of your life and going from picking a career, picking a major, getting the right classes, getting your SATs, and it's all really stressful. But getting started in this way with a fun personality test that's also informative, we think is a great way to start the college and career planning process. So how do we use the self-assessment tool on our site? Well, we begin with defining the different variables of Myers Briggs. So the first variable that students will define is what their favorite world is. Either extroverted, which is an outside world, or introverted, where they're directed more inside. So extroversion, you direct your energy towards other people and you feel more comfortable among other people. A way that this can help students find a career path. You know, would you rather be in a group of a bunch of people when you're working, or do you tend to like to work independently? So some examples of this are someone who might be more introverted might like to be a web developer or a writer. These jobs are typically more independent. You think internally rather than having to use the outside world to gather your information and be successful, versus someone who's more extroverted might be better in a medical field or as a teacher, because you rely on other people and you have to have a lot of human interaction every day, and that'll help them feel more fulfilled than if they were sitting at a desk alone every day. So that's the difference between introversion and extroversion. The second variable relates to how students process information. So it's either through sensing or intuition. And the difference between these two is sensing, people tend to use learned skills in order to process information. So another example of some careers like this would be, again, a web developer. So using knowledge of a certain web language will help you accomplish a task. Or a nurse, you have to use the proper medical equipment, you have to diagnose correctly, you process your information using skills that you know, and you can solve problems that way. And the opposite is through intuition, so using more of a sixth sense in order to create solutions to problems. So some examples of this might be like anything creative. So instead of processing information using logic or skills, you kind of go off the cuff. You're able to come up with ideas on your own and using information that you feel internally rather than in the places around you, and that can help direct a career path as well. The third variable is in regards to how students make decisions, and that's either through thinking or feeling. And the difference between these two is making decisions through thinking tends to rely on logic. And again, career paths similar to this might be math or science. So you have to use logic and reasoning in order to make decisions, whether it's a day-to-day job like a math teacher or somebody in statistics, or you know, coming up with solutions that need reasoning, whether you're in a research lab or coming up with new ideas. The opposite of that is feeling, and that's making decisions based on needs. So instead of using logic or proof or facts, you look at the people around you and you come up with solutions based on what you think they need the most. Example of this might be working as a social worker or in a not-for-profit. So you're more focused on making decisions based on what's best for the clients you're helping or the company that you're hoping to take to the next level. And those are some examples of careers based on that response. And then the last variable is how the student deals with the outside world and dealing with new ideas. And that's either through judging or perceiving. So a good example of this is people who like to make plans versus people who are spontaneous. So say you know someone who is planning a trip, someone who is more of a judging personality, wants to look at the best dates to travel, wants to find the cheapest airfare, wants to see if there are any special deals during a certain time of the year before booking a vacation. Someone who is more perceiving would just get on a train or get in the car and land at the first place that they find interesting. A way that this translates to a career is someone who's more judging, who wants to make plans or needs to make plans, might be a lawyer or a surgeon, someone who needs to have a clear outline of what they're going to do in order to solve a problem, in order to deal with new ideas or convince someone else of an idea that a lawyer would do. The opposite, perceiving, is again something a little bit more creative that requires you to think outside the box, something that requires you to be a little bit different and something that might change very, very quickly. So an example might be a graphic designer or a marketer. The world changes all the time and you have to be prepared for that. So someone in that sort of career would be better in a perceiving sort of job. So that's just a quick overview of the different personality types, and our site goes over that as well. So now that your students know what the variables are, how do we help them come up with what they are best? What we do on our site is we offer 4 quick quizzes that help them determine each letter variable that they are most like. So you can see in our screenshot here, students answer 5 questions honestly and then tally up a number value that corresponds to the letter. So each question has a yes, sometimes, or no answer. So we realize that there's some gray area as well. So after they answer the questions, there's an answer key that's turned upside down at the bottom so that they don't know what their number means. And then they tally up that number and it'll coordinate to the box on the right. We'll show them which of the 2 variables they are most like. So this is a way that we ensure that they stay honest and not try to drive the answers themselves, like, oh, I'm mostly yeses, that must mean I'm mostly extroverted. It's different, so we try to avoid doing that. And another answer that could happen is some students might be close between 2 letters, and that's okay. So someone might get a 10, which is low on the extroverted scale and just out of the introverted scale. And that's great. I mean, it gives them more opportunities for career paths, and maybe even looking for something that is equal of both. So what happens once they get all of their letters? Once all of the quizzes are completed, they'll have their final 4-letter personality code, and they'll match that up to the code on our worksheet. From there, we explain what each type means and possible career options that would make a good fit for that type. And like I said, some students might be very close in between the 2 different variables, and this is a great opportunity for them to look at both. So if they are an INTP and they were very close to being extroverted, they might want to look on our worksheet for an ENTP career path as well. It never hurts to have more options, and that's something that we believe pretty strongly in. Our intention here is not to tell the students what to do. That's not what we want to do here. Nobody can tell them what to do. They have their own decisions, they have their own thoughts and their own intuition about what they're best at. But like we said in the beginning, this process is so overwhelming and so stressful, and it's hard to know where to begin. And that's really our intention, is to just give them a starting point for their college or career search. But we don't intend to make a decision for the students who take it. We encourage them to be open to many career options. So even if they don't fall in the middle between 2 personality types, if they feel like it's wrong or they feel like they could do something else, then we absolutely encourage that. We don't want them to limit themselves to what this test or even what their parents, their friends, their guardians are telling them that they should be doing. We never want to limit a student, and that's something that's really important for us here. So that's a little bit more about the personality tests, what they mean, why we do it. Lisa's going to go to our live site really quickly and just show you a quick look at how we incorporate all of this into the toolkit and how your students can use it.
Okay, thanks, Laura. Just to quickly finish up with you, I want to show you how we incorporate the personality test into our college and career planning curriculum. On the screen now you see our toolkit. And the first step in the curriculum is getting started. And as you can see in this downloadable homework, handouts, sub-step. But at the very beginning of the first students complete the self-assessment test. And so after clicking on Take the Assessment, it takes you to the worksheet defining personality types. It takes you to the quizzes. So the first thing that types, and then step 2, you're going to take the personality quizzes. As you can see, screen was one of the personality quizzes. And then step 3 is to find your corresponding personality type based on the code. Now, I've taken the quizzes myself, and I felt it was spot on for my personality. But, you know, again, we do emphasize that discovering your personality type will help to guide the students along their path, but it should not be the absolute means to which they define their future. So after completing the self-assessment piece, they can click on Started and continue on to the first step of our curriculum. So if you're interested in learning more or have questions about our toolkit, I would love to schedule a time where I can show it to you one-on-one. And if you sign up for a free toolkit demo, to show our appreciation, we will enter your school or your organization into a drawing for a free 6-month license. And you can reach me at lisa@nextstepcollegeprep.com. So that's pretty much it. Laura, do we have any questions?
Well, someone said that the microphone was a little bit spotty. Does anybody have a part that you missed out on that you want us to recap? We are recording this, so if you didn't hear any of it or you know someone who wanted to attend but wasn't able to, we are going to put this on the website, so you'll have the ability to recap on this again, or we can put a transcript up as well of some of the notes that we've had if you ever want to go back and find out a little bit more. But
okay, so it doesn't look like we do have any questions. So, oh, actually, here's one.
The question here is, do you have a list of careers that match to personality types? We have a list on the worksheet. They are separated by personality type. So depending on what the student gets, it'll give them 4 base options to sort of give them a little bit to get the ball rolling of the fields that might be good for them. But we can always create a full list. That's a little bit more in depth. The ones that we have are just to get them started. But yes, there is a list based on what the results that the students get.
Okay, great. I don't see any more questions. So, so thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. We know how busy you are, and so we appreciate your time to attend the webinar. Oh, wait, are you able to provide? Sorry, we have another question.
Just the question is, are you able to provide additional information about the toolkit? Like Lisa said, any other questions can go through you, and
yeah.
then you do free demos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So I would love to provide additional information about the toolkit. You can email me at lisa@nextstepcollegeprep.com. and we can set up a time and I can give you a call and love to talk to you about it. That'd be great.
Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you. And we hope you found this webinar helpful and that you will join us again for next month's webinar. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.